Well, backed by popular or unpopular demand, a couple of people don't like us grading the horses. Actually, just one person has been complaining. That's just one complaint in the complaint box. Amy doesn't love doing it also because she had a good idea. She said, well, maybe we'll just do it by jurisdiction. Well, an A plus or an A or B minus is going to be the same regardless of any jurisdiction. I can't think of one horse that I would say I'm extremely disappointed in at this point. There's going to be horses that come on. I used Joe J as a reference this morning. There's going to be horses that get better as they get along. And I had somebody message me yesterday, a very well put together message telling me about how their horses, they like to see them hit certain criteria, and most good horses fit in this criteria, which is probably true. But there is no cookie cutter way to get them to the track. There is no guarantees. There is no certainties at this point saying, well, if your horse does this and does it, if your horse does this, he's no good. If your horse does this, he could be good. Because nobody can say that Austral Hanover ever did a thing right in his entire life. In fact, if you remember, I tried to sell him not once, but twice before he ever got to the qualifiers. He was a horrible animal. He trained down terrible. He looked terrible. He did nothing right until he got to the qualifiers. And then it was like he said, all right, you got me. I'm going to do it now. And he ended up being probably one of my favorite horses to drive at 2 and 3. An absolute sweetheart of a horse on the track. But as he trained down, quite the opposite. So for everybody out there trying to fit your horse into this file where I'm comfortable with this horse, because none of it matters anyway, because they still have to do the races, and then we have to race against everybody else's horse. So regardless of how good you think your horse is training now, if 7 of them are training better than him, doesn't really matter now, does it? Nobody wants to talk about the 8th best horse in the race, or 7th, 6th, 5th, 4th even sometimes 3rd or 2nd. You're a quality animal or you're not. And that's just the way it is. And sometimes that is out of our hands and their hooves. They can only do all the work right that we give them, or at least all the work we give them. And then we'll all see when the qualifiers, when the gate comes out, the wings open up, then we'll know for sure, or at least start to know for sure what's what. So, I want to give all the horses a grade, which I guess, as I just said all that, is kind of useless, isn't it? But I'm going to grade them how I feel, because I'm like you. I have a certain criteria, too, that I want to see.
You're more optimistic than me, though, so I feel bad grading them, because
you shouldn't feel bad.
I'm a lot more negative than you are.
Of course you're a lot more negative than I am. I want to see the best in all the horses. And I try to dismiss some of the bad stuff that I know they'll polish up as we go along. But these grades are for today. Today, right now, today. Not what they might be in July, not what they were a month ago. Absolutely today. What are their grades? And I don't feel bad about it, but take it all with a grain of salt. It could mean nothing in 4 weeks. It could mean nothing in 8 weeks. And I'd love nothing more than everybody to turn out to be A+ horses, but we all know there's going to be some horses fall behind as we get into the summer. Some horses that are deemed not stable horses as we move into the summer or even into the fall. And as I look back on what took place last year into the winter, there's going to be some other horses that are deemed not stable horses rather than turnouts. Every year I try to look at the indicators also, right? I remember a horse that looked like that ended up being good or didn't end up being good. We give a lot of horses a second chance and even a third look this year that maybe didn't deserve it. And that criteria that I have, it's going to tighten also. So, enough about that. There's nothing wrong with having your own. I don't care if it's the color, the name of the horse, the color, how they look on the track, if their ears are up or down, if they're making breaks or not. Whoever wants to use their own philosophy, there's no wrong one. I can tell you that. Because come July 1st, all the philosophies go out the door. They go out the window. Because then it's just the horse in the starting gate. So, I am going to grade all the horses. All of them, right now. And I'm going to tell you why. And Amy's going to grade horses also and tell you why she believes it is. She sees different things than I do. You do. Just because I see things, I zero in on things that I like, but maybe miss the forest for the trees sometimes also. So we're going to start with AC/DC. He made some breaks. We got him gated. Then we castrated him. He showed some speed. Remember, that first open house, he beat everybody. He made some breaks after that. Then we castrated him. He was on the right line a bit. We added a head pull. Then we added a Murphy blind. Then he got on the left line a bit. Not unrealistic and not shocking. But I trained him with the head pull and the Murphy blind on the other day. I went a mile in, what I say, 221, 222. Last half, probably 7 or 8. He was good, but as he was going in and out of the turns, you could feel him soften a little bit. He's switching his leads. Now, is that him just learning to go with speed? And is that a confidence thing? Or is what's that?
He had nasty splits too.
He had nasty splits too, right? They were just fixed. Or is it something a wee bit more sinister? Maybe are his knees bothering him? It's not me. Maybe his knees were bothering him a little bit. I don't know. There's no lameness to talk about. He's not hanging on a line. He's not running right out. There's no exaggerated movements, but it's subtle. You can see them in, out, a little bit in and out of the turns. But the speed was good the other day, and the reason I said that to Amy, I wanted to go faster with about 6 of them, so that when I backed them up, they could get a little confidence, and I could feel how good they are going a little slower. So, AC/DC, I'm going to give a straight B to, because I think he could get a lot better from here. He's going to get a lot better from here. But he is on a watch list of mine, as a lot of horses are. He's not in the A category yet. I could give him a B+, but I'm going to start my list off with a B.
I was gonna give him a B-.
B-?
Because I felt bad giving him a C+.
You felt bad giving him a C, I see. So you're gonna have to explain yourself.
I didn't go with him the other day when you said he might get better. He hasn't been going good.
No, I think he was going fine. The problem was that he had a number of different drivers going with him, and getting to know him and asking him to accelerate in the right places and not in other places is hard to tell somebody. So he made a break on Tyler. I think he might have made a break on Johnny, but I knew what I was getting myself into when I trained him. I knew where he was weak. I knew where his weaknesses are in the mile. I knew where his strengths were. So there was little chance he was going to make a break.
But I think it's different when you train a horse by itself and then you train a horse with other horses.
100%.
And they're put in different positions.
Yep.
Because you don't know what other people are doing. Then you kind of see where they,
Yep.
are struggling.
You're right. Well, you see where they're struggling, but you see how mature and how understanding they work. A lot of these horses could go out and train a mile in 220, no problem right now. But Amy's right. Stopping and starting, stopping and starting. There's the great equalizer, and there's with some of the horses. We have to keep an eye on all the horses that are making those breaks or struggling to make those changes in the mile. Because, first and foremost, the likelihood that something's bothering them is there, right? They've learned this from day one to start and start. So, not being able to when other horses can, you got to tell me why. I think it's just a little cold sore stuff that he's going through, just maturing and growing. And again, we'll back him up and make sure that we keep an eye on that. And that's why I put a B. B- is fair because you didn't go with him and you only got to see him in a training set. Adeline? So I'm going with a B. Amy's going with a B-. Next horse up is Aunt Sarah. This won't take long. She's an A+. Straight through and through. She's not the 100% soundest horse. Never has been. Always been on that right line, over on the left shaft a little bit. Adeline? Always on the left shaft a little bit. We had her x-rayed, we had her looked at. There was nothing really there, no smoke, no fire. And the most important thing the thing you have to understand with the lameness is it never stays the same. It always gets better or worse. It is never a constant. It can't be. But with her it is. She's always on the left shaft a little bit. She always runs into the turns a little bit. Always the same way. She's got better and better and better and stronger. So I can't really tell you what it is, right? The vet has looked at her a couple of times. He said, I don't see anything, and she looks fine to me. So there is something with her mechanics, but we are able to overcome it, and we do with her all the time. So there may be people out there saying, well, we need more diagnostics. It doesn't work that way. Just because you find something you think will help does not mean that she's going to come right off that shaft, especially since she's done it since the day we broke her. The first horse to wear a head pole, the first horse to wear a Murphy blind was Aunt Sarah. Very first. Way, way back. Well before we started training the horses full time, she had one on. So, Aunt Sarah, easily A+. 1, she understands her work. 2, she's very, very good at it. She is one of our best horses. And 3, I love her tenacity. She is an A+.
She's competitive.
This is your turn to talk.
Well, you said everything.
No, there's other stuff. She's competitive.
She's competitive.
Okay, but you didn't grade her either.
Oh, I agree.
A+.
You said A+, I nodded.
Okay, but I was talking to the camera, so I couldn't see.
Well, if you're going to speak 45 seconds about how great she is, what am I supposed to say?
Oh, fine, I'll let you go. We can't go with Bianco Spiaga because I haven't seen her yet. Harry's him. I haven't seen him yet. Harry said he was knuckling over a little bit and had a temperature when he arrived. We haven't even trained him yet, so we will grade him later on. That would be unfair. Blue Rare, I'm just going to go ahead and say A+. I like the filly because Amy is going to describe Blue Rare for you. A+. You're up.
Oh, she is. What were all the words?
I don't know. You're going to have to use them. You should take notes.
Yeah, I should.
You're up.
Blue Rare, A+.
Yeah. Well, okay. Tell everybody why.
Oh, what about Gorgeous Package?
Gorgeous Package is 3. These are babies that are 2. You don't know.
Blue Rare. She seems to enjoy her work. She is competitive. She does her job. She's, I don't know. Where's all your adjectives?
3.
She's fast.
She's a fast filly. She does her work well. She carries her speed for a very, very long period of time. She exhibits all you want from a very good horse. And the thing I love about her, still, the respiratory system on the muscle mass has always concerned me as you go into the summer, and that will be a concern until it's not. But the other concern has always been her knees, and they do not seem to bother her. I say her knees as in her dad's knees. We've never had a muscle mass that didn't have bad knees. Hers seem perfect as we head into the into the start of spring. So Blue Rare, A+ across the board.
She's easy on herself too. Like a lot of muscle masses are hot.
They can be, and some of them are super lazy too.
Wow. Which ones do we have that are lazy?
Lifting Legend.
Okay, well.
It's pretty easy
Other
going.
than him.
He's
I mean, like
going.
in our
I know.
older horses that we've had.
They're usually,
They're a little spicy.
they can be at times, but she doesn't exhibit the signs of any of the normal run-of-the-mill muscle masses. Capistrano Knights, trained the other day, 222, 223, somewhere in there. Thought she trained good, has made breaks on people when asked to accelerate. I didn't see any of that training the other day, and when I've gone with her, I haven't seen it. She's, you guys hear me talk to Amy about being proactive as a trainer of babies on the track. This is the epitome of why you have to be proactive. If you move at all into a reactionary position with this filly, you're asking for her to maybe make a break. She almost looks for guidance and looks for confidence from the person sitting behind her.
She seems like she's not like as intelligent as the other horses.
She's just very easy, skittish, very easy, tipped over, and very, very skittish. But so was Gorgeous Package last year when we talked about her. I make the comparisons to them because they have very, very similar stories and similar storylines. You got to where she made breaks on people. Some people maybe didn't want to go with them anymore. And when
there's only so many times you can shy away from the video screen being on before
some of them
you're not very smart.
Some of them, but they don't have to be smart. They just have to do their work well and understand their work well. And it's up to us to show them. Capistrano Knights is the same way, very skittish. She shies away from the same things a lot. But she'll go around the tractor, she'll go around the truck, she'll do her work, she'll roll up on the back of people, but she does get tipped over easy, right? And training the other day by herself, she was fine. In fact, I didn't see her skittish at all the other day training. I'm going to give her...
It's because it's like, she wants to... She just gets stressed out. And when you're asking her to...
She's very skittish,
switch.
And that's where I said you have to be proactive. You have to show, rather than just asking her to do something right now, you have to show her why you want her to do it right now. And that's a hard thing to do, but that's the job of the person sitting behind her. I'm giving her a straight B because she is fast enough, and all the stuff that she does will polish up as she goes along. I'm certain of it because I saw the exact same thing happen last year. I'm going with a straight B because she does have a lot of improvements to make, but a B seems fair to me. B minus. B was a little tough on her.
She's got work
That's
to
fine.
do.
Yeah, I don't disagree at all. B minus is fine. Captain Doolittle. You're going to start with Captain Doolittle.
That's not fair.
You're starting with Captain Doolittle.
Captain Doolittle.
Sorry, I couldn't hear you.
I gotta give him a B minus, and that's generous.
B minus is generous. Sorry, tell everybody why.
It's not his fault. He's trying.
It's a big thing. Trying is a big thing. We have cleaned his gate up.
He's not gifted with
He stands off and he does touch himself, right? That's been a problem in the past, but he is getting better. Training the last 2 training trips have been good. When we started working with Captain Doolittle, we all knew that it was going to be an uphill battle from day one. We had to tinker with the shoes, then we had to work on it, then we castrated him because he get a little cranky, getting a little loud, getting a little cranky. We castrated him. He came out. He's been doing his work much better. He's been into his knee a lot less, and he's advancing when you ask him to. Those are all the things. I'm going to give him a B-
it's
also.
Not a B- attitude. It's there's a lot that needs to progress.
I think B- is
but
fair.
It's not his attitude at all.
And B- is a fair grade given all that he has to do between now and June. I don't think B- is a bad thing. But I think somebody said, well, do you think he'll make it? I think all the horses will make it.
Yes.
Some won't, some will, and how good they'll be when they get there is all that matters. So what does it matter if he makes it? He needs to make it in a way where he's going to be a useful competitive horse. And I believe he will. So a B- I think is fair. Cherry's Girl. I'm going to start with Cherry's Girl. Cherry's Girl, both the Captain Corys we have are a little cranky, right? Both those fillies. Both of them, if you're not looking and it's around lunch, you might end up with a headache at some point. They can be a little nasty at times, but both are competitive and both are improving. I went with Cherry's Girl 2 weeks ago. She had a quarter crack that was bothering her right hind, and she did her work very, very well. I see her starting getting stronger, getting faster, and I have no idea where she starts and finishes, but I like what I see from her. I will say she can improve a lot on and off the track, so for that I'm giving her a B+, but I do believe that Cherry's Girl is a nice horse. It will be a nice horse.
I agree with the B+. I probably would have given her lower a couple of weeks ago because she's not one that I sit behind very much. I don't feel like I am able to keep her interested as well as other people are.
She's not that hard, really. She did her work well the other day under very moderate urging from me. When I went with her, I didn't have to lean into her bad. I didn't have to yell at her. I didn't have to tap her with the whip that hard. She did her work well.
She's improving in that regard.
Huge. 100%. And I like that she's getting bigger and getting stronger.
Yeah, she's solid. I don't know. I think she can get there for sure. I like her. I hate to do this, but if I had to pick between her and the other filly we have,
she's behind her.
I would pick her.
She's behind her a little bit, yep.
But yeah, I see her getting there for sure.
You're eager to go race her in Virginia in October, right?
I am not at all, actually.
I've never been there. I'm eager to go.
Okay.
I'm eager to go. So Cherry's Girl, I'm giving her a B+, and she's teetering on the A category, but we have to reserve that category for for horses that are doing their work very well and at least improving leaps and bounds and have made it into a spot where they belong on a segregated list. Cherry's Girl isn't quite there, but she's getting there. B+. Degas. Now, when Degas started, I think Amy and I both had her on a C list. She just needed to do more work. Her attitude was a little bit in question. Her gait was a little sloppy. And the thing that bothered me the most was she was lethargic after her training miles. It just looked like she worked harder than everybody. But she put that work to good use because I trained her hard the other day and she did make a break. So in that regard, she still has to continue to clean her gait up. But what I saw was a horse that was in much, much better shape than what she was way back when. Dollar for dollar, when you talk about training trips in 250, she looked very tired. Now we're going in 25 and she looks like she's right on par where she has to be. Now, the breaks will come to an end. I don't see any concerning lameness or problems with her. I just think it's mechanical. I'm not too concerned, but she did make a break the other day. I'm giving her a straight B, but I believe she can easily get to an A category. She's got the gait, she's got the breeding, and when she's trotting in the straightaways and trotting at a turn, she's still going wide open. She's just boxing herself up. I believe just a simple change of shoes and helping her push into the first point of that turn with the speed she needs will give her the confidence to continue to push through it. So I'm giving her a straight B, but I like what I see from Degas so far.
B.
A B.
Yeah.
Anything to add?
No, you keep talking too much. I've got nothing to add.
I gave you the floor first.
You told me to go first with one horse.
Yeah, and then you talked for like 1 second. You're like, that horse is brown.
I did.
That was your explanation.
No, I didn't.
That horse's ears are
I was
good.
just gonna say that it's probably a little bit of, she thinks she's going to hit, like you said, she's boxing up her gate in the turns, but then I'm like, and then she has to decide with her attitude if she's going to do it or not.
She did, I think.
I think that the more close, like the closer she gets, and when she gets on a bigger track, I don't think that we're going to see the same.
No, I think you're right. I went with her for 2 weeks and she was great. And then I think the problem is a young, even if any of the kids go with her or one of the other trainers, your first instinct if you're a horseman is when you get to a turn and the trotter starts to slow down, you want to help them, right? But if you have the hobbles set on right in that baby, you have to force them into that turn, let their hobbles do the trick, let them push through and work through it on their own. Now, you can't just push them, tip them over all the time. There has to be that sweet spot where you're still accelerating mildly and at the same time not asking for too much, but not letting them come off the accelerator. And that's a hard thing to do sometimes with young horses. And that's what I felt the other day, is that she was let off the accelerator maybe 3 or 4 or 5 training trips in a row. And now she's got to a point where maybe she doesn't trust herself right now. I think once we get those flip-flops off her and force her into those corners, I think she'll be much, much better. You don't want to do that if it's soreness related.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
But I don't think it is with her.
She doesn't seem to have because last year our 3 fillies, all 3 of them, their knees were sore by this time.
Yep.
And I don't see that. I don't think that's what it is.
Neither do I. If you would see it more pronounced. She'd get on the line more. She'd run in, she'd run out. You know, we talk about how that Colt ACDC does that. You could convince me that his knees are a little sore. We just have to back up with him and keep an eye on him. I don't see the same indications with Degas. So
It's like on time every 10 minutes.
I asked, it's exactly 10 minutes. I asked Eric to take the lock off, and it was off for like a day, and now it's back on again. We should just use your thing. Okay. Next, I believe we had Emerald Tom.
No, we have Diosa.
Oh, where are we at?
Diosa Deladanza.
Diosa Deladanza.
I'm going to give her a B.
Okay, I'm going to need to hear this. Way to go.
Inconsistency. There's
How's she
a
inconsistent?
lot of other
She hasn't done anything wrong in 2 months, though.
There's a lot of 2 months.
It's been 2 months since we
Maybe
put
1
that
month.
shadow roll on her and jacked her head up and put a birch bit in her mouth, put a set of knee boots on her. It's been a month, 6 weeks, 8 weeks. And after that, she obliterated everybody. I'm going to tell you something. The other day, we came a big last half, and no one, and this should be said, the watermark of A+ is going to be a horse like Perfect Thought,
Yes.
right? That is perfection right now. When push comes to shove, she's able to, and you ask her to, they are not going to get to her. And that was pretty evident the other day. I only started her up for 5 feet out of the last turn, and the rest was on idle through the stretch. But that goes for every pacer, right? Now, when you're sitting fourth with Diosa Deladanza, you're not going to pass those other 3 fillies or 4 fillies to get to a better position. They're just all pacing hard. So that's all right. You give her a B. You keep, just tell everybody why you think she's a B. This is important. But I don't see any inconsistency with her, though. I think she's done a very good job since that day that we put all that stuff on
That
her.
was 2 months ago.
When was it?
Like less than a month ago.
I don't think so, but let's call it less than a month ago. Since that moment, she has been at her best every single week. I just think that, and I say this to Amy all the time, when we're on a hard training day, and I had to explain this to our trainers the other day, everybody knows, if we have 6 in a set, you know who the pecking order is, 1 through 6 for the most part. The 5 and 6 horses should end up on the front or near the front at the half, because in theory, they can't pace or trot with the other 4 the same way. So you need to almost not level the playing field, right? It has to be almost a handicap as they come to the 5, as they come to the half. The 5th and 6th horses need to be near the front, right? And the other ones have to come and get them. Well, when it's the vice versa of that, when the best horses are on the front, the 5th and 6th horses can't.
I had one of the best horses at the back, and I couldn't catch anyone.
Exactly. So if Diosa Deladanza is in the middle of the pack and she's sitting in the middle of the pack, she's going to finish in the middle of the pack. She is a very, very good filly, and it's important to note also, Amy's talking about Millie Girl, who's been amazing. I'm talking about Perfect Thought, who's a New Jersey bred, Pennsylvania bred. Diosa Deladanza is an Ohio bred. I think you can give her a B, and that's fine.
I said B+, and she was very offended.
I'm not offended. I'm just trying to get a handle on why you picked it. I could have given her an A+, but she isn't. But I'm going to give her an A-. Again, I'm going to give her the minus because you put her away in the B category. But she's an A filly, She's done her best work and beat up on everyone at times when they were good. When Perfect Thought was a little flat, Diosa Deladanza mauled them, right? You and her were 1-2 in the one day. I forget who I went with. Maybe Sweeney. Maybe I went with her.
I don't think she's ever been in with us.
No, she was the other day. And Eric went with it for sure. Whoever I went, I went with Sweet Lake that day. So when you're looking at all those fillies, you're going to give all those fillies an A+. It's hard to push her in the B category. You can't change it, by the way. It's locked in.
It's an A+.
I'm giving her an A-.
Which is only 1 tick difference.
And you know what?
So you know.
I'm giving her an A.
Okay.
I just changed my grade. I said you couldn't. It's not fair for me to do it. So A- for Diosa Deladanza. And trust me when I tell you, if we are going to segregate by state, she's an A+ in Ohio.
That's why I wanted to do that.
Nah, but that's not fair.
That's what's happening.
But that's not fair.
Comparing her against 2 other.
But you can say that out loud like we did. Diosa Deladanza has been awesome. She was 5th in her last set, but the 4 fillies were ahead of her, except for Millie Girl the whole way. And we came a pretty good last half. So I'm going to give her an A-. I'm a little embarrassed now. I should have given her an A. Amy's going with a B+. She has been very, very good. Who's next?
Don't Ask Again.
Don't Ask Again has a lot of work to do. Might be the only horse I'm putting in the C+ category. She has work to do. Her gait is good, but she'll make breaks. Her attitude is good, but she has her moments. She is fast enough. This is the type of horse that I could see coming forward as we get to qualifiers. The flip-flops have to come off. The gate has to clean up. She has to put forth an honest effort, start to finish. She has to not make breaks. These are all things she has to work on. So I'm only giving her a C+ because there has to be, this is the watermark for A+, and this is the watermark for C+. You are doing your work adequate. Your attitude is adequate. Your performance is adequate. I need you to do more. So she's a C+ right now, but I can tell you one thing. If you go back and watch our videos from the year Austral Hanover, he was a D. All the way through the year. I would have literally traded him for a cold case of beer in March. And instead, he ended up being one of my favorite, and I don't even drink beer. That's how much I didn't like him. I would stand by that. And I wouldn't drink a case of beer in a year.
I know.
So that's how much horses can change. Austral Hanover went from me having little thought about him at all year long, to being one of my favorite, and maybe my favorite horse to drive in the entire stable at 2 and 3. So don't get discouraged. If you're my partners on Don't Ask Again, I'm giving you the straight goods. There's a lot of improvement needed. But fret none, because it can happen, and it has in the not too distant past. Do you have anything to add?
No, I would have agreed with a C+.
Who do we got next?
I don't feel comfortable grading Dune.
It's hard to grade Dune.
Yeah.
Well, here's the scoop on Dune. Everybody that goes with Dune, everyone that sits behind her loves her, and she has to go to Michigan. How don't you give her an A+? She does everything right, she does nothing wrong, and she's going to a place where she only has to be an okay horse to do very well. The only reason we bought her is because, as a family, it played a role. As a family, I want to go back to the place.
You don't even know if your schedule will allow it.
There's going to be, and I'm confident that Justin and Jessica and Jess and all our Michigan friends can tell us where we should be, where there's a nice place to visit. Lauren, obviously, of course, Lauren, Donnie, everybody, hey, go to this town, go to that town. They're the people that gave us, Jenna and Jessica, and all those people gave us the heads up. This is the town you should go to. And Lauren said you should go to, what was the name of the town? Not the town we raced in Ludington.
Oh, the one where the kids got lost on the raft?
Yes, that one.
Yeah, I don't remember.
They didn't get lost. They had life jackets on. They were along the shoreline, and they were on a paddle boat. Weren't they, or some sort of a thing?
Yeah, I don't know.
Where were they going to go? There was no sightings of Jaws. They were all right. Perfectly fine.
There was like sand dunes or something. Remember those big
I
dunes?
can't. It's annoying me because I just told somebody the name of the town the other day. You don't have to email me. By the time we finish this, I will know the name of that town. It's annoying me now. It's burrowing a hole in my head.
I can look at the pictures and it's
Lake. Silver Lake. Yes.
Oh, I never would have done that.
See, you didn't even get to write the email and I got it. Silver Lake. So Dune, it has to be an A plus. There's no other way. There'd be no reason not to give her an A plus. There has been one shred of evidence come my way or information that would lead me to believe that she is not an A plus. A plus.
Okay.
Next.
Emerald Tom.
Emerald Tom. Again, I would say he has to be. No, he made a break on the kid 2 weeks ago. Said he was on the left line. Maybe put a Murphy on him. I said I didn't want to put a Murphy in case it drove him the other way and he started running in, making breaks. Just leave him alone. He sat him in the middle of the track the other day and said he finished up really well. Strong, if anything. Again, another horse. Once in a while he starts saying, like, geez, does his knees bother him a little bit? That's just growth. That's just growth. So I haven't seen him regress even a centimeter since the time he's got here. Has he made the odd break? Yes. Very rare, but he has. I have little concern with anything negative going on with Emerald Tom. There are breaks, there are improvements, so he can't be an A plus. He has to be an A by definition alone. I'm giving Emerald Tom an A, solid A. Amy agrees with okay. You're gonna have to start the next one because you said one syllable last time. Who's next?
Go Strong Hanover, A plus.
You're up. Okay. A plus is good.
Oh,
That's
I know
fair.
you were mad at him the other day.
I was, but he had temperature. Yeah,
yes.
you told me. The issue with it, and he was touching his outside knee a little bit. He was getting into his jack. We got to get the flip-flops off him. There's a lot going on there, but he is a legitimately good horse. And they said they went with him on Friday? Saturday. No, I think they trained. As Jason said, he trained great. Jason said he was good. I think they must have trained. Oh, no, it was today. No.
No,
And we were there yesterday.
you trained him on Wednesday.
I thought Jason said he went with the horse and he was good, but you're right. I must have missed something there. Yes, an A plus. You know, the training trip from the other day was rare. It was warranted, as she said he had a temperature. What I saw was a horse touch his outside knee, did touch his jack. Those are mechanical issues, not his doing and not his fault. And both are very, very easy to fix. Now, when you extract that training trip from his entire body of work, the horse has been an A plus every day, every week, every month since we broke him. So he's going to stay in the A plus category simply because he always has been, and he really did nothing wrong the other day. I just put him in a bad spot. He made a break, and I can tell you exactly why. So A plus, you're right.
Had to know. Now,
You're up.
this isn't fair because you got to go with him yesterday.
You saw everything I did. I trained him in 221 the other day, which is fast,
Which is
almost as
very-
fast.
Yeah, I thought that. Hey, what were the reports on him the day on Wednesday? Because Johnny went with him.
I didn't get any reports. He was fine. He said he was running in. He thought he was a little weak in his stifle, which he's a giant. I could buy that, but I don't think it was it at all.
Well,
I think
that's
it was a
where he
quarter
has
crack
that quarter
coming.
crack.
So the only
Okay.
problem is he had blood coming out of 3 feet the other day, which is rare. It is clearly now, in my mind, after looking at all the other horses that had the quarter crack issues that we were dealing with, he's the only one left. The only one left that has an issue with the quarter cracks. Now that the salt and the calcium's off the track, which clearly, in my mind, caused, if not all, most of the issues. Here we have a horse with 3 fresh marks on his feet. He didn't hit them. 2 of them, at minimum, 2 of them blew something out of his foot, and there was a quarter crack on the other one. We have to get him on a supplement. We have to readdress his feet and see if there's any mistakes that we made shoeing him. But I'd be remiss if I didn't say it was a problem, but he did do his work well now. I just told you he bled out of 3 feet. He trained fantastic the other day.
Did you find him like?
Rolly in the turns, yes.
But did you find him like I want to get at it? Like,
No.
I'm
Oh
not-
yeah. No.
Because when I went with him like 2 or 3 weeks ago, I was like, I can't.
No, he was all business.
I just felt like he was in with the wrong.
I knew exactly how fast I was going, and at no point was I worried, one, he was going too fast or too slow, or that he was getting tired in any way. He was all business the
So
other
what are you
day.
giving him? A B plus? An A minus?
I'm giving him a B plus. The feet thing does concern me. I'm optimistic that we can fix it, address it, fix it, and manage it, but it needs to be done. And I like his attitude. His size is concerning. He's gigantic.
Well, based on our Marseilles from last year.
The Marseilles from last year all had knee issues. This guy, he has every reason to. His feet are sore. He's straight up and down on his front end, so a little bit back in his knees. It would be very easy for me to say there's going to be some issues there. But when I showed him the speed the other day, he never come off the accelerator a bit. I like this colt. B+, and I've explained very well why he's not in the A category. He could be. It's a nice colt.
Hangar One. You grading him? That's
I
not
have to
fair.
grade him. Oh yes, he's got to be a B- right now, or a B at least. I like the speed. I like the attitude. I like that he has a kind eye. This horse, he just looks immature, and he hasn't come to grips with what he has to do and what he's being. He hasn't reconciled what he's asked to be done and what he has to do. There still seems to be that gap there, and that's just sheer mental immaturity. There's no physical immaturity there. He does interfere a little bit, but I think we can address that and work with that. I'm really tempted to put him on the trailer and take him to the Meadows with me on Tuesday morning and train him before the qualifiers. I may very well do that. He's been getting work on the walker. I jogged him the other day. He's fine. He is getting work. I guess my only knock on that is we're trying to put weight on him, and shipping him 2 hours may not be the best way to achieve that. So that's where I'm at. I guess the latter is the most important thing. What we've been trying to do is keep his stress down, put another 20 or 30 pounds back on him, and then start training him again. We're getting to the speed now that was his comfort. Exactly. It was his comfort.
Him by himself?
No, he just
On the
frets.
trot?
He just frets the whole time. He needs to get back into a structure. I think middle of next week we can find somebody to go with. End of next week we're not here, so he's going to continue to jog. We can start back middle of April, full-time training with Hangar One. But the reason I've been so cautious with him is I know he's fast. One, he's got a great family. Himself, specifically, is a very fast colt. I can see when he's looking at you, he's a little immature, and he still has that stubbornness inside him where he can really make it hard on you and make it hard on himself. And I'm hoping that as he moves forward, he'll learn to grow up and mature from there. That's my hope with Hangar One. I am going to give him a B. I need to tell Eric, turn that off. Keeps kicking us out of the sight. And it's only, I don't know why it does that. There's no meaning in it. You're going to go to age. Click on age there. Now scroll down to where we are. So Hangar One, I gotta give him a B-. I have to be fair to everybody and the horse. I think there's a tremendous amount of talent there. I don't think he's the cheap speed type. I think he wants to get there, but he's still at the mindset that he's going to get there on his terms. And at some point, that bridge is going to be tough for him to cross. So I'm giving him a B-.
Okay.
You're just going to nod your head.
I didn't even want to grade him because it's not really fair for me to.
Okay.
Never even jogged him.
You can jog him
No.
if you want.
It's absolutely not.
Hangar One, who do we got?
He's a
Now,
fearless
you are gonna go with him.
I was going to give him an A-.
Okay. Tell everybody why.
He doesn't do anything wrong, and he seems to be doing well. I'm just, and again, this is not fair, but I'm just comparing him to a few of our other Ohio Colts,
Yep.
who I think are slightly ahead of him.
That's fair to do. Why wouldn't that be fair?
But as far as him as an individual, I have no complaints.
I think he's made up his mind. He's going to be a nice horse. How fast he is, that will be his ceiling, and that will be under that heading of qualifying time. But I believe there's a talented colt in there. He's already shown enough speed and enough talent to do it. The immature, ignorant mistakes he was making when he was a stud colt, they've come to an end, as his reign as a stud has. But he is really putting it together nicely. I only went with him once from when he was castrated to now, and I was shocked how good he actually was. Can I tell you that he's going to reach up, like he's just faster than Emerald Tom? And no, I can't say that. I think he's going to be a very, very useful horse for us. Where his ceiling is, I don't know. A- I think is fair, although when I think about it, I don't remember a whole lot of mistakes from this colt in the last 2 months at all.
No, I'm not doing it based on mistakes. I'm just doing it based on if you were to put the however many Colts we have.
You can't grade them on, well, he's not quite as good as Emerald Tom right now. Emerald Tom's made breaks and he hasn't. I'm giving him an A because I haven't seen a mistake in this colt in quite a while. I know you said he was bumpy a couple of weeks ago, but he didn't run.
No.
And I think if you made him power through the turns, he would. So I'm giving him an A just because I don't see a lot of the inferiorities. I'm not saying Amy's wrong at A-, but I am giving He's Fearless Peter an A. Who's next?
Highest honors.
highest honors. He's going to be one of the quietest A-plus horses that we have the entire day. Nobody talks about him enough. Nobody gives him enough credence. I told you guys that Perfect Thought pounded everybody the other day. That colt came first over and sat right outside me. I put him away coming out of the turn, but not one more horse got to me. Not one. So, I'm giving him an A+ because I don't see why we could possibly give him anything else.
I agree. I said the other day, it's unfair because no one ever talks about him.
No, he's just a nice horse. He's just a really, really nice horse. So, A+ it is for me. I was going to bid on a horse today.
When's this going to cut you off? We're at 40 minutes and we're at H.
No, we got lots of time. Not worried about it. Cuts us off. We're just going to start back with wherever we have next. I think that I do have to call that guy back that just called them. He's there actually looking to buy one of our horses. So where are we at? Highest honors. We're going to start back with the killer in New York. But for right now, A+ for highest honors. There is no possible reason not to give him an A+ in my mind. I can't think of one. He, again, hung out and tried to chase down Perfect Thought the other day. Came first over. Everybody else that was around him couldn't pass him. He ended up second. That's a nice colt, and we don't talk about him enough. An A+ for highest honors. Yes? A+?
Yes.
No, nothing to add?
No.
Okie dokie. A+. We'll be back in a minute with In New York.